what are we going to use now that Big Twist is not available anymore? I have some suggestions. Hi friends, welcome to the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast channel. My name is Hannah. This channel is all about crochet, a little bit of knitting, sometimes sewing, and living the yarniest life possible in St. Petersburg, Florida, where I live. Hello! Normally, you would not see my face until another week, but we have a special bonus video on the channel for you because I have some yarn to show you. This is going to be a yarn-specific video, although I have some projects that are attached to these yarns that I'm excited to share as well. So grab a cozy beverage if it's cold where you are, or something refreshing if it's hot. Here it is in the 80s because I live in Florida. And let's talk about yarn. Now, I have some yarn to share with you. It came in a red bag. If you know what the red bag means, it means Premier yarns. But the question that I want to address is, what are we going to do without Big Twist value yarn? I have been using Big Twist acrylic yarn from Joann's my entire crochet and knitting career, which at this point has been, I don't even know how many years, since college. College was like 15 years ago, more than that, 17 years ago. I don't know, I'm getting old, you guys. I can't even remember when college was. That's how long ago it was. My life since college is almost a legal adult. But I started knitting for real when I was in college because I had a boyfriend who was long distance. Spoiler alert, this relationship did not last. But I had a boyfriend. We were kind of long distance. We lived like an hour and a half from each other. And he wanted to talk on the phone every day. Okay, fine. We were dating. But he wanted to talk on the phone for like a couple hours every day. And I didn't have anything to do during that time. So I went to a knitting class at college. I learned how to knit and I started making all of my friends scarves. I made them in stockinette. And I did not know that you needed to put a border on stockinette so that it didn't roll. So all of my friends got sausage scarves, and they still look like they're like this wide, but they're like this wide because I knit this much and they rolled into a sausage. My husband still has one. It is in our closet because he kept it all that time. He was one of my friends in college, and then we married each other. What a love story. It didn't exactly work out like that, but I am very thankful for him. And so that's when I learned to knit. And all of the yarn that I used for those beginning scarves, and then tons of the projects that I've made since then that used acrylic yarn, came from Joann's. And of course, Joann's had their Big Twist line. It used to be called something else, but it's the same stuff. This is electrolytes. I know I was drinking that last time, but guess what? I'm still dehydrated. Since I had elbow surgery, I just don't like drinking water. I don't know what happened. I don't like drinking soda either. I don't want to drink tea. Like, there's just something about plain water that just, but I don't want flavored water. It's a drama, okay? So I'm drinking electrolytes, trying to like help my body. And today is the first day officially that I'm able to not wear my wrist brace. And I've been doing some crocheting because I feel like I'm healing. My arm is super sore. I had physical therapy this morning. Baby Noel was a disaster the whole time. He is asleep right now, and I feel like I'm rambling and not talking about yarn at all. Let's get back on track, shall we? Woosah. We're talking about yarn in this video. So when Joann's announced that they were closing, obviously terribly sad. Everyone's devastated, right? It's like such a staple of our crafting life in America specifically. But what are we going to do without this Big Twist yarn? There are other places you can get a wide variety of acrylic yarn. And for example, one of them is Michael's, but at least my Michael's does not have a big selection at all. They have their Loops and Threads brand, which is fine. I think it's comparable to Big Twist yarn. And then of course, Walmart near me has a small amount of yarn. And so they usually carry, at least in the Walmarts in my area, they have like a little bit of Lion brand. They have their own yarn line, which is Mainstays, which they've had for, I want to say a couple years now, but given that college is like 17 years ago, it's probably been a decade that they've had Mainstays yarn, and I'm just like lost in the sauce. But there are some options, right? And then of course you have some online retailers, like you can get yarn from Lion Brand online. You can get Red Heart. Oh, Walmart has tons of Red Heart Super Saver. You can order some acrylic from Knit Picks, We Crochet. Those are the same company. You can also order some acrylic from yarn.com, which is Webs. There's all kinds of options, but I specifically want to talk about the yarn, like the workhorse acrylic yarns, because Joann's had a big selection of those. And I did not realize because like my Joann's had tons and tons of yarn, like aisles, like 6 full aisles full of yarn. They had a lot of their basic big twist acrylic yarn. I don't know how many colors, so I looked up how many colors that this yarn came in, and it said 42 colors for their basic yarn. That's a lot of colors, right? Sounds like a lot. Well, I have something else to share with you that's even more colors. So I'm going to be talking about Premier Yarns today. Premier Yarns, full disclosure, I am an affiliate for Premier Yarns. So if you at any point click a link related to Premier Yarns below this video and you buy anything, in 60 to 90 days, a little bit of your purchase price at no charge to you, it comes from the company, will come to me to support this channel. I am an affiliate with Premier Yarns because I love Premier Yarns, and they're one of only 2 companies I am affiliated with, them and Twice Shared Sheep. And when I posted the video several weeks ago about saying like a frustrated farewell to Joann's, Chelsea at Premier Yarns reached out and said, would you like to try a couple of our acrylic bases and compare them to the big twist yarns that you have worked with in the past? And I said, yes, absolutely, because I am interested in this. And the reason I mentioned 42 colors of big twist yarn is because I thought that was a lot. And I have used Premier Basix yarn, which is their basic acrylic, just like the big twist basic acrylic, right? I have used that plenty of times in my crochet life, especially to make stuffies, blankets, things like that. There was one blanket in particular that I made. It was a pink gradient, and I held 6 strands of acrylic yarn together, and I used like a 15 or maybe it was a 20 millimeter crochet hook for the entire thing. It was kind of like one of those giant hand knit blankets, and I kept that for a long time. It's, I believe, on this channel if you go way back into the archives, and some of that yarn was from Premier, and I greatly enjoyed working with it. And she sent me a couple of things to share with you, and I have started using them because I wanted to give you a most recent opinion of how I think these yarns are. Premier has a basic acrylic, just like Big Twist had a basic acrylic, but it doesn't come in 42 colors. It comes in 98 colors. Is that not insane to you? Like, I thought that 42 was a lot. 98 is more than double 42, right? Look at this. Look at all these colors. That's insane, okay? And you get, for the worsted weight, it comes in, the solids come in a 200 gram ball, 359 yards. For the multicolored ones, it comes in a 140 gram ball, 245 yards. And one ball of this currently is $2.99. So regular price is $3.99, so it's 25% off. So one ball of yarn is 200 grams for $3 currently. That is great. I want to show you how this works. So the other thing I was really excited about is, to my knowledge, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if they came out with something recently that I just didn't know about. Joann's Big Twist yarn did not have a DK weight in their regular acrylic, which I think is a big hole in the yarn industry in America specifically. So Michaels has a little bit, like their loops and threads. I know that they have a DK weight, or at least they used to. So that's nice, but like the Walmart Mainstays does not, Red Heart Super Saver does not come in DK weight. We need a DK weight. DK weight yarn is so much more accessible in like the UK and in Europe because it's just a much more popular weight of yarn. And I wish there were more DK weight options here in America, but there is. And one of them is Premier. Premier DK weight Basics. So this is literally the same yarn as the worsted weight, except that it's DK and it comes in 100-gram balls. It has 65 colors. So even their DK weight line is more colors than the Big Twist Basics basic acrylic yarn. So that's a lot of profits. Okay, let's talk about actual projects and things. I got 5 balls of yarn from Premier. 2 of them I have already started working into projects. So this 6.5 millimeter hook, this is a tulip because I can't find my clover, but I love tulip hooks. She sent me 1 ball of Premier Basix Mosaic, which is like a marled yarn in a rainbow color. I love this rainbow color. So the rainbow ones, you get 216 yards. It's 120 grams. This is a little bit smaller of a ball. This is the colorway Prism, which of course it is. It's a rainbow. Can you see what I'm trying to make hiding behind it? Don't worry, I'm going to frog this because I have to remake it because I made a mistake. So I got this yarn. This is exactly the same, okay, as their Premier Basix 100% acrylic yarn. This is also 100% acrylic. This Premier DK Basix, also 100% acrylic. So with all of the yarns that I'm going to show you. I love a good acrylic, especially for gifts, because then you don't have to worry about people shrinking them in the washing machine. That has happened to me before. The care is so easy and the acrylics are just so soft, right? So this yarn, this skein is a little bit floppy because I'm working from the inside and the outside at the same time because I'm making a dinosaur. I knew immediately that I wanted to make a stuffy for Noah, who is my 1.5-year-old, with this yarn. I am in the middle of making a dinosaur, but I have to frog him because I made a mistake. So this is a free pattern. You can see if you look at him, he's crooked. Okay, I'll show you up close in a minute. I want to show you what the pattern is. When I was like, oh, I need to make a stuffy for Noah, the reason I need to make a stuffy for Noah originally is because I made this for Nova. This, as in my last podcast episode, was named Nemo the Hippo by my daughter Nova, who is 4 years old. In hippo news, this hippo is no longer named Nemo. She changed her name to Eleanor, which is lovely. That's a lovely name. But I asked her, I was like, why did you change the hippo's name? And she said at the top of her lungs, because I'm in charge. And then she said that she does not need a hippo anymore and her brother can have it. And this was after several days in a row of her not letting anybody touch this hippo, including her brother, who was desperate to touch the hippo. And I was like, I either need to make him something equally colorful or I need to make another hippo, but I didn't have any more of this yarn. This yarn I ordered from Premier myself, paid for it with my own money. This is the Premier Parfait XL Palm Party. It's a long name, but it's basically like a super bulky yarn with little pom-pom flecks that you can see poking through and sparkle. So of course I had to make a hippo with this, right? I will link the hippo pattern below if you would like it. I made it in a super, super big yarn. It's actually supposed to be really small. This is what it was supposed to look like. But I made a gigantic hippo because I made it in super bulky yarn because this is much more better, is that even English? Much better for snuggling if you are a 1.5 or a 4-year-old. So Eleanor the hippo, formerly known as Nemo the hippo, my daughter apparently does not care about this hippo anymore, but Noah cares deeply and he snugged this hippo this morning. So don't worry, she's still getting loved. Eleanor the hippo birthed this thought in my head that I needed to make something for Noah. I hadn't decided what I was going to make for Noah yet when this yarn arrived. This yarn right here. And I was like, well, that's perfect. He loves bright colors, just like not everyone else in my family. Nova loves bright colors. I love bright colors. My baby likes bright colors. My husband, not so much. In fact, he wears like blue and like green now. When I met him in college, he only wore black. So we've come a long way, folks. So I was like, what am I gonna make? What am I gonna make out of this yarn? And I don't wanna make it tiny, tiny, so I need to hold this yarn double, which is why I'm working out of the inside and the outside of the skein. So I went to the queen of making stuffies, who is Ella from the No Catchy Name Crochet podcast. I will link her podcast directly down below. Ella and I have been online internet friends for, gosh, like 7 years now, probably. A super long time. We basically, I think, have watched each other's kids grow up. Like, she has 2, I have 2. I think her channel's fantastic. She does a lot of markets and makes a lot of stuffies. So she's always showing stuffies. I went to her thing where she links everything down below her YouTube videos. And I found this pattern, which is a free Instagram pattern from Kaylee Crochet for this little dinosaur. It's obviously made to be like plush yarn, etc. Something more akin to this. But I wanted to make it out of this, so I just held the yarn double. I knew it was going to be a different size. It's a free Instagram pattern, so it doesn't like hold your hand. And I've made enough amigurumi to know what I'm doing, but I still messed this up because I got really confused. So you essentially make 2 legs. You make a leg, you make the second leg, you join these 2 legs together. You make a leg, you make the second leg, you join these 2 together. And then, I'm not giving anything away because this is a free pattern, you essentially crochet up the middle of the 2 legs to connect the 4 legs together, and then you start going around and building the body of the dinosaur. And I knew that it was looking a little weird, but I just was like, oh, once I stuff it, it'll be fine. It's not fine. And maybe I'm crazy because I care, but you see how crooked this leg is? It's like going sideways. And I have stuffed it every way I can possibly think of to make it not crooked, and it's still crooked. I think that I was like 2 stitches off when I crocheted these together up the middle. So not only, you can look and see, not only is this leg crooked, this leg is crooked. Like the whole thing is like a little weeble wobbly, and the butt is fine from far away, but it's also crooked. Like this is a little over here, like it's the whole thing. I made the whole thing crooked, which would be fine. It's going to a 1.5-year-old. Do you think he will actually care? No. But do I care? Me, a perfectionist, I'm not even gonna call myself a recovering perfectionist because I'm not recovering. I just need things to be perfect. And of course, life continually disagrees with me about that. So yeah, I have to frog. I just kept going. You know when you have that feeling that you're like, this is not correct, but you just keep going anyways? Yeah, I literally only have the head left and the little tail to do. But he's small, okay? He's not gonna take that long, so I'm going to frog him. I was actually going to frog him last night, but I was like, no, let me show you first. Just so you know that I'm not perfect and I make ridiculous mistakes all the time in my crochet, even though I've been crocheting for like so many years now. The dino is crooked. His whole butt is going this way, and it's just ridiculous. So yes, he is going to have to be frogged all the way back to where I join these legs together. Luckily, he doesn't take that long. I am using a 6.5mm hook, which probably I could go down a couple hook sizes on that, but because I'm holding the yarn double, I have stuffed this pretty firmly, and you can't tell. You can't see the stuffing through. The only place you can see the stuffing is right here, where there's some shenanigans when I was trying to stuff way more stuffing in this leg to make it not crooked. So it's gonna be an adorable little dinosaur. But look at this. He's like, Merk. Goodness. What a ridiculous dilemma to have. So I'm going to have to frog this and remake it. But that'll be fine. Noah doesn't know that this is going to him or that it's even being made, so it's not like I'm late. Also, he has Eleanor the hippo to snuggle in the meantime. So this yarn, this Mosaic Basix Mosaic yarn, it's 100% acrylic, just like the regular Premier Basix 100% acrylic yarn. It is really soft. For a basic acrylic yarn, like I am so impressed with this. And I'm not just saying that, like I've worked this entire dinosaur up, and this is the same same fiber content, same way it's spun as the DK, the worsted weight, it's all the same. Okay, nothing crazy is going on here. It is really soft. And I went into my closet, dug out my bin of acrylic yarn, and I felt up the yarn. I felt up the Red Heart. I felt up the Big Twist that I had in there. I felt up some Lion Brand yarn that I had in there that was all acrylic. And this, to me, is softer. I also was at Walmart. earlier this week buying cleaning supplies because Nova was throwing up yet again. The germs will never leave this house. Have kids, they say. Don't. I mean, do. It's a wonderful, worthwhile thing to do. But also, they're going to throw up. And that's a major minus. The barf quotient with children is high. And the love quotient has to be even higher. So there's a lot of barf, is all I'm saying. I was buying cleaning supplies at Walmart, and I specifically went to the big Walmart to buy the cleaning supplies. It's much more of a drive for me. There's not a Walmart right near my house. But I went to the big one because I knew that they had one whole yarn aisle. And I went and I touched their Mainstays yarn, and I touched the newest Red Heart Super Saver yarn that they had. And this is softer. 100%. It is a softer yarn. When I have been working with Red Heart in the past, which I've done a ton of times, sometimes it's really rough on my fingers. Sometimes it squeaks on the hook. Acrylic yarn has been doing that to me the entire time I've been crocheting, especially on metal hooks. Like, it will just make that squeaking sound. One tip, if your acrylic yarn is squeaking, I just always take the hook and I like rub it in my hair. I don't know if it like puts a little oil on it or something. I don't know, but it will stop the squeak for a little while. This did not squeak at all the entire time I was making this dinosaur, and it did not squeak. It didn't squeak. It didn't hurt my fingers. It's super soft. Like, I could wear this around my neck, on my head, as a cardigan, no problem. And I think I'm going to at some point. Like, the amount of yarn you get for $3 is crazy. And this Mosaic comes in 6 colors. But the regular, just the worsted weight yarn, comes in like 98 colors. And this DK, which again, DK is so hard to find in the US, this comes in, how many colors did I say? 65? I think it's 65. So I am really impressed with this. It's super soft. And it's not even the softest yarn they sent me. So if you have not had a chance to try Premier Basix yarn, I recommend. I'm having a great time working it. And I'm going to have a great time reworking this entire dinosaur. And if you love rainbows, I think you need this yarn. It also says on this, tested and approved against 350 plus harmful substances. I don't really know what that means. I should have asked. I mean, obviously it means tested and approved, but like, what substances? So maybe it's not as bad for you as some of the other plasticky petroleum-based yarns that are out there. I'm not sure. The next thing that I'm going to show you is some cakes. So I'm going to show you this one first because I haven't started working this one up, and then I'll show you the next project that I made. She sent me a sweet roll, which I have never used a sweet roll before. It's just as soft as this. I think they're very, very similar. And I can already tell, because this is 100% acrylic, that once you wash and dry this, it will just be so drapey. This is kind of plump. It says it's a medium 4 weight, and you get 140 grams, 245 yards. It seems plumper to me than this, but maybe that's just the angle. Maybe it's not. I have not worked this up into a project yet. I may have to get myself like another one because this would make a pretty small project, and maybe a small project is what I need, but maybe it should be a cowl. That would be fun. It's really soft. I really like it. The sweet roll has 12 colors, and of course the colors are self-striping. So you can change colors in your projects without having to weave in a bunch of ends, which we know everybody hates. So the last 2 things they sent me are anti-pilling acrylic. Now, I have seen this particular yarn, the anti-pilling Premier acrylic, on Jennifer's channel of Cinnamon Stitches. And if you don't know who Jennifer of Cinnamon Stitches is, you must live under a YouTube rock. Like, she is such a big channel, and also a delightful person all around. In fact, yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? It wasn't yesterday, was it? No, because Nova was home on Monday because she was throwing up. I had to clean the entire house yet again with pine sol and bleach and all the things. Not together. Don't use pine sol and bleach together. You will die, literally. The fumes can kill you. I used a little bleach in the bathroom, and then I closed the door, rinsed everything, put it away, pine sol the rest of the house. I just felt like I was so anxious. My period was almost due. I was super anxious. I had been up since 3 a.m. because that's when Nova woke up throwing up in her bed. She obviously was full of life and energy for the rest of the day while I was dying. And I had to clean the house. So instead of taking a break or doing some work like I needed to do when both of them went to sleep, she doesn't take naps, but I made her go in her room and lay in her bed since she was sick. I had to clean the house. And I put in Jen's most recent video at the time, which was a nice long one. And I just Pine-Soled and I washed every surface and every doorknob and every switch and every handle and floor and the doors. And I washed everything I could possibly get my hands on. And I just listened to her, and she like calmed my whole nervous system down because I was like on the edge of a mental breakdown, which maybe I should have had, maybe because, maybe sometimes you just need a good cry when you're overwhelmed, right? But instead, I didn't do that. I listened to Jen from Cinnamon Stitches. All that to say, you should be watching her if you're not. But many times on her channel, she's talked about the Premier anti-pilling acrylic yarns. And I don't know, I can't remember if she's talked about the DK colors specifically, probably because they're so bright and she loves bright colors. But they have all kinds of different anti-pilling acrylic. And I knew from her channel that she said this yarn was super, super soft. But I hadn't ever actually ordered one of these for myself. And they sent me one. It's Premier Anti-Pilling DK Colors. One ball of this is 140 grams, 383 yards. So again, another great DK option, okay? And the DK Colors has 25 colorways of this. There's 25 different versions of this yarn. And I have already started something with it, but she was right. Like when she said this is so soft, it is in fact so soft. Like I thought the Mosaic yarn was pretty great for an acrylic. This is next level. I want to make a cardigan out of this. It would have to be some kind of drop shoulder construction so I could keep the striping sequence going correctly. This yarn, while working with it, it gives me Karen Simply Soft vibes in that it's like at least that soft, maybe more, but without the splittiness and the pills. So if you've worked with Karen Simply Soft, you know that it can be kind of splitty and it fuzzes like nobody's business. I have made shawls. Specifically, I made a shawl for my mom in Karen Simply Soft. I've made dolls, amis, stuff like that. And it does pill and it does split when you're working with it, especially crochet. This, I have had no such experience with it doing that. And I'm in the middle of a project. I actually started this yesterday and it's going to be a little bag. And I wanted it to be a little bag because it's so bright. I got all the way through 2 colors yesterday. There's my crochet hook that I hopefully won't lose. So you start at the bottom. Focus. And this is straight single crochets, and then it goes into like a mom stitch. But you can see how neon this is, which is why I love it. This pattern is called the Mosu bag. I'm not entirely sure I'm saying that correctly. It's by Sweet Softies. And that is what it's going to look like. It's one of those little, looks like that. You can buy it if you want. You can buy a PDF. I will link it below. Or on the Ravelry page, you can click a link to her blog and get the pattern from there. I just clicked through to her blog. Generally, I do like to support the artist and buy the pattern, but I knew that I didn't really need the pattern for this. I just needed the starting number for the bottom. And then I didn't even follow the starting number really because my yarn is DK and she calls for worsted weight in the pattern. And I think she calls for 33 to start and I did like 45 or 50, which is gonna be the perfect size. So I love this. This is super, super soft. It is mega soft. When it came out of the package, I was like, ooh, these are my colors. They are so pretty because they're so bright and that is everything I love. Neons are my fave. But when I started working with this, I really could not believe how soft it was, like truly. What I'm saying is, Jen was telling the truth. This is magical and I highly enjoy it. How much is that? I don't even remember. I didn't pull that up, I don't think. I can tell you in just a second. I can say Premier Anti-Pilling Pilling DK Colors. It is $5.99. So $6 for one of those. And you know, they have sales all the time. So I don't think that this one's on sale currently. Yeah, this one's not on sale, but it probably will be at some point. So yeah, I really, really highly enjoyed that yarn. If I have any yarn left of that, I think that I should. By the time I get to here, I'm probably going to be at the stripes. If I have any of this pink yarn left, what I want to make is this. It's a shrimp. This is a shrimp amigurumi pattern by G Beans Crafty. Or maybe it's G Beans Crafty, I'm not sure. It's got a GH. It has, this is one you have to buy. It doesn't have a free pattern, but it's a little shrimp. I need to make a shrimp. Like, I do. I need to make a shrimp. So if I'm not going to make a shrimp out of that, then I will make a rainbow shrimp out of this. Can you imagine a rainbow shrimp? It's going to be amazing. The last cake of yarn they sent is very similar to the one I just showed you. It's an anti-pilling acrylic. It is an everyday worsted gradient, which has 10 colorways. And you get 200 grams of this for 360 yards. And this is the color that I have. This, beautiful. I think that's going to need to be a shawl of some kind. I don't know. Let's see, Premier Anti-Pilling. Let's see if we can find some of the other colorways of this. Everyday worsted gradient. Ooh, there's a green one. That's fun. Look at that. This, because it's double, it's like a 200 gram ball, is $8.99. This one, the colorway is eggplant tones. So that's what it looks like worked up. There is plenty of other colors though, like this one. That's funny. And there's all of these colors right here. All of those. So yeah, I think based on my experience working with Premier yarns in the past, working with the actual yarn they sent me just this week, and working with Premier yarns over the past 6 months when I've made that hippo, I ordered some yarn to make a sweater, I ordered their cotton sprout stripes yarn. I have been overall incredibly impressed. I was not at all expecting particularly this to be as soft as it was. Like, I was expecting the anti-pilling acrylic to be soft. I was not expecting the regular workhorse basic acrylic to be as soft as it is. It did not hurt my finger in any fashion. It didn't squeak on my hook. And I like it enough to frog this and remake it and then make a shrimp out of it. And when I realized that they had 98 colors in the worsted weight, I may have already like started planning a bunch of projects. And y'all know, if you've been here, that I have like 100 projects on the go already. Not literally that many, but it feels like that many to me, especially because I haven't been able to do much with my elbow situation recently. So yeah, if you're looking for just a regular worsted or DK acrylic yarn as an alternative to Big Twist, specifically the worsted, this is the way to go. If you're looking for a DK weight yarn just to use, this is the way to go. And if you're looking for extra softness, I highly recommend the anti-pilling because it is delightful to work with. My elbow was complaining a little bit last night, so I put this down and picked up a little bit of knitting. I did maybe 6 rows on the heel of a sock before I went to bed, but I wanted to come back to this and knit on it, or crochet on it rather, because it's just so soft. It is so soft. I really do think I need to make a sweater of some kind, or a capelet, or a poncho, or something to show how magical these stripes are. It's just great. So yeah, all is not lost. If you are a Big Twist connoisseur and that's all the only kind of acrylic that you worked with, namely that you got from Joann's, don't worry. There's other options for us, okay? And in the ranking, for my personal taste, okay, Mainstays is at the very bottom. I don't really want to use that unless I absolutely have to. Red Heart Super Saver is kind of above that. And then the Michaels version, Loops and Threads, depends on which one, but that's above the Red Heart. Lion Brand is kind of parallel to that as well. And this is at the top of the list for me. So the next time I need to order a bunch of acrylic yarn for projects, I will be getting that because highly, highly impressed. And if you have suggestions for what I can do with one sweet roll, I only have 245 yards. What can I make with this? Comment below. Please comment below so that I can make something out of this beautiful acid wash yarn. That's all, folks. I hope to be back next week, next Saturday, with a regular podcast episode because I have been making things. Do I have any finished objects? No, but maybe this will be frogged and then become a finished object when his dumb little leg isn't sideways. So until I see you then. Clearly need to stop talking because my brain is not working. Until I see you again, happy crafting. Thank you for being here. Thanks for stopping by. If you like this podcast, you can hit the thumbs up. That just lets me know and YouTube know that I'm making something worth watching. And you can subscribe if you want to come over again in the future and hang out. And I'm so grateful you're here. If you're here, whether you're a super old, been around for a long time viewer, or this is your first video, I welcome you. I'm so glad you're here. And if this is your first time, we're friends now. So come back and see me. I'm going to want to know about your life. Okay, until I see you again, happy crafting. Bye, friends.